Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me today. This is the Eadsy Astronomy weekly newsletter for April 5th to April 11th, 2026. Here you can see, and we'll just go through the lunar calendar. It's in the details in the notes. You can read the notes in the newsletter. We're going from a waning gibbous, 3 days past full moon on Sunday, the 5th, on Easter, going to first quarter next Friday, the 10th, to a waning crescent on Saturday, April 11th. So, some great opportunities for some wonderful objects are coming up this week. So the earlier in the week, the moon will be up. It will come up relatively earlier in the evening. It gets later and later each night this week. The problem we face, of course, with being on daylight savings times now is the sun, like here locally in Utah, it goes down about 7:55, 8 o'clock. And that means you're in astronomical twilight till about 8:45, 9 o'clock. And if the sun's rising at 10, 11, or even midnight, it doesn't give you a long enough time if you've packed up, headed out to a dark site, set up, and you can grab a couple hours, 2 or 3 hours in. For me, I'll wait till later in the week or early next week if the weather, of course, permits, to get out to take advantage of the moon coming up about 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., or later as we head for new moon on the, I believe the 17th, 18th, somewhere around there. Well, we could just look up here on the 17th, yes. So anyway, but later this week you can get out and start getting some good deep sky observing time with the moon getting out of the way. Anyway, so we've covered all that. We'll talk about planetary highlights in a minute. Again, this is just the lunar transition to dark skies. We've covered that. You can read the details here. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. The planetary report, the evening duel are Venus and Jupiter. Venus is currently a brilliantly evening star right now. It's at magnitude negative 11, negative 3.9. Sorry, I don't know why I have that 11 in my mind. It sets around 9 p.m. It's wonderful. If you look at it right now, you're going to see it in a thick gibbous disk. It's about 92% illuminated. Jupiter's still the main event for April, especially on the 9th and 10th. Late Thursday night into early Friday morning, Ganymede's shadow will transit Jupiter's disk, so you can look for that. It will enter at 11:57 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, so adjust according to your time zone. On April 9th, and transition will continue until Jupiter sets for us in Utah around 2 a.m. Mountain Daylight Time. April 11th around 6:27 p.m. So that's still the daylight here in Utah, so we probably aren't going to see a whole lot of that. Callisto will reappear from behind Jupiter's limb. So adjust for your time zone. If it's dark where you're at, take a look and see if you can see Callisto popping back out. Anyway. If you're up before the sun around 6 a.m., look to the east-southeast. You're going to have Mercury. It's very low in the sky. You need a good flat horizon, but it's still there. It just finished perihelion on the 3rd, so it's going to actually do that today. Today is the 3rd, so it's reaching perihelion today, and so it will still be visible, but just very low on the horizon there. Mars and Saturn are currently within a few degrees of each other in Pisces. Mars is the reddish point, while Saturn will be the pale yellow one. They'll be steady. They won't twinkle, so to speak, because they're a planet. They're prepared for an extremely close conjunction coming up later this month in April. Just be aware of that. You're going to... Sorry about that. I've had this cough all week. I don't know where it's coming from. Comet C 2026A1 maps. I'm touching on it here. It'll be in the comment section again. I'll just touch on it here, and then the comment section will mention it briefly and go on to the next one. This is the make or break it for this Creutz's family comet, so to speak. It's going to reach perihelion tomorrow, Saturday, April 4th. That's the closest point it gets to the sun, about 100,000 miles. We're going to see if it actually survives its encounter with the sun. If it does, by April 5th, we're hoping astronomers using the SOHO and the PUNCH satellite data can see if the nucleus has survived the heat of the sun and the encounter with the sun. If it survives, it's going to emerge from the solar glare this week. Look for it very low in the east in the early morning twilight, about 5:45 a.m. near Mercury. If the forward scattering of light is strong, it could sport a significant tail visible even in the brightening morning sky. So here's some double stars. I haven't changed the double stars from last week's newsletter, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them today. These are just like 4 of the quick hits if you want. There's more in the double star section. Deep space, probably with the moon getting to the last quarter on the 9th, the second half of the week, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, April 9th to 11th, really begins bringing back galaxy season to us. Some of the favorites, of course, M51, the Whirlpool Galaxy in Canis Venatici. Look for in the next several days, probably Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, I'll be putting out a observing guide for Ursa Major and Canis Venatici. So look forward to that. That will be coming out. And then, but M51 is a great one to go after. I've been looking at it lately, and at dark skies and 21.5 or greater empath skies, you really, in the 17.5 scopes that Shane and I have, we can really see a lot of structure in them. At the 21.8 sky we were at, the structure in M51 was incredible. Anyway, you have the Leo triplet up right now. It's a favorite of spring. See if you can, if you're imaging with NGC 3626, the Hamburger Galaxy, see if, besides getting the dust line, if you're imaging, or if you had a dark enough site observing, can you get the tidal tail that's coming off of that galaxy? That's a good challenge, especially if you're imaging. The Sombrero M104, great right now in the southeast sky. Has a good central bulge and that wonderful dust lane there. So anyway, galaxies dominate. There's a few other objects that we can highlight. The Beehive cluster M44, it's high in Cancer. It's a great object in April to take a look at. The Ghost of Jupiter was in the last couple weeks' newsletter. It stays in the newsletter this week. It's in Hydra to the south. It has a striking pale blue-green hue to it. If you have a big enough scope or imaging, see if you can see the eye structure. It's an inner shell of gas surrounded by the larger halo. See if you can detect that. There's a good challenge for you. And then, of course, you have M3, probably one of the finest globular clusters in the northern Milky Way. It gets you prepped for looking at M13 later in the evening as we move toward new moon. Looked at M13 at about 4 a.m. This last observing trip. It was just gorgeous, just fantastic out there in the dark skies of 21.82 empath skies. Anyway, but M3 is out there. It's a good warm-up to get your eyes ready to go for the galaxies. Special events, like we said, we have the Comet C2026 A1 maps. We're just going to see if it survives, like I mentioned earlier. Comets, the main event, C2026 A1 maps. We'll see if it survives. But even if it doesn't survive, it could sport a long, thin tail pointing straight up from the horizon. Just with the fragmented comet can still be pretty bright with the fragments. So look for a possible tail coming off of that, even if it does fragment. But there is another great comet that's out there. It's a good candidate to become one. C2025 R3 Panstarrs. Maps provides the drama. Panstarrs is the steady climber, so to speak. It's currently moving through Pegasus, again in the early morning sky, and brightening daily as it heads toward its own perihelion on April 19th. Visibility, it's currently a morning object. By April 11th, it will be high enough in the pre-dawn sky to be an easy target for a 4-inch or greater telescope, great for imaging, of course. I'll use probably my Comet Chaser or probably my Telview MP101 to actually try to get a look at that early in the morning. If you're in the western U.S., you can adjust again if you're in the eastern, central, or Pacific time zone or another time zone based on the time I'm giving here. On April 11th, next Saturday, get up early, 5 o'clock a.m. You can start with C2025 R3 Panstarrs. You have a beautiful capture of the image in the sky. I'll try to get the C star out for that. And then at 5:45 a.m., you can scan for M2026 A1 maps as twilight begins. Make sure you go to the Skyhound link that I have for comets up top there, because as they go past perihelion, these sun grazers can actually change their where they're located just a little bit. So anyway, just be aware of that. Lunar craters for this week. Monday, April 6th at sunset, look for Poseidonus. Here's an image of Poseidonus. It's a massive 95-kilometer wide floor fractured crater. Look for standard bowl-shaped craters. Poseidonus has a floor that was pushed up by rising magma eons ago. In the grazing sunlight, look for a complex system of riles, which you can see in the image here, winding across the floor, and its prominent off-center inner ring. So you can see that in the image here really well. April 9th, last quarter on Thursday. If you're up late enough, starting at about 11 o'clock p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, Terminator will go through the Rupus Recta, the straight wall, which you can see in this image right here. At this phase, the sun is setting from the east. The 110 long cliff will cast a bright white line rather than the dark shadow which you see here, which it does during the waxing phase. It looks like a glowing sword on the lunar surface, like a rapier to me. And then you have, of course, Potaminus, Alphonsus, and Archshell here. Great opportunity on that same night on Thursday to get out and actually image or sketch these. I'm going to try to get out and sketch them that night. Friday, April 10th, you have Clavis in the South Pole. Clavis and Copernicus, awesome to get. Okay. Again, I mentioned the double stars, haven't changed them from last week, so I'm not going to go through those, spend a lot of time. Again, Jupiter, Venus, they're the evening stars. Venus is coming in at negative 3.9 magnitude. Jupiter's coming in at negative 2.1. It's just brilliant up in the constellation of Gemini, just south of Castor and Pollux. It's still up there. Again, we went through the transits that are going to occur this week, so be aware of that. Venus, 92% in the gibbous phase right now, so it's a good time to begin to watch Venus as it transitions through its various stages as the evening star. In the pre-dawn, you got Mercury fresh off its elongation today, April 3rd, where it reaches perihelion with the sun. Probably it's still at its best visibility for the year, but it's very low. Good open sky, flat horizon helps with that. It's currently at magnitude 0.2. Mars and Saturn, they're currently hugging the horizon in Pisces, very low. They're quite close to each other, and they'll come through conjunction, like I mentioned earlier, later this month. Later this month. Here's just a quick chart that shows you when's the best time to see these objects and the time of day to see them if you want to go after them. Of course, you have Uranus. It's still out there. You go back to some of the earlier newsletter. I didn't include the finder chart, but it's just below the Pleiades, and you need to do that early in the evening before it gets too low. Neptune's too close to the sun right now. Don't even give it a try. Deep space targets, I've broken it again into small telescopes, 4 to 8 inches, and then 10 inches or greater. Eye candy objects and challenging objects. You got the Beehive, which I've mentioned. M81 and 82. I posted a news article on M82. Take a look at that and realize that what you're seeing is some super fast, super hot gas that's being ejected out of M82. Great news article on that one if you take a look at it. You got Algebra. I love Algebra. It's one of the finest doubles. It's up in the double star area. Goes to Jupiter, which we've mentioned. M3, of course, we've mentioned. And then the Black Eye Galaxy, M64, in Comet Berenices. Look for the famous dark dust lane, giving it that black eye kind of view. Challenging objects. M97, the Owl Nebula, isn't a hard object to see. What makes it hard is can you get the eyes? Can you get the eyes to pop out? NGC 2903, it's a beautiful spiral in the nose of Leo. It's bright, usually requires averted vision to see subtle texture of its spiral arms. Saw it last time, just beautiful. Messier 98, edge on it, spiral in Virgo, low surface brightness, makes it easy to sweep past if you aren't careful. Take a look at it. 3226 and 3227 is a pair of interacting galaxies near Algebra. Looked at them last time and sketched them. Beautiful. Go for them. You got the intergalactic wanderer, Caldwell 25. It's a very distant globular cluster. It's extremely faint. It looks like a ghostly smudge, almost like a galaxy, to be honest with you. And then Cor Coralia, the double star. It's easy to split. The challenge is seeing the subtle color contrasts in blue-yellow Others see white lilac. See what you see when you look at it. Of course, eye candy for 10-inch or larger scopes would be the Whirlpool M51, the Leo triplet 65, 66, and 3628, 45, 65, the Needle, one of the finest edge-on galaxies you're going to see. M13, if you're up later in the night, as we get later in the week, it comes up after midnight in the east. By 1, 2 a.m., it's really high up. So if you can get it before the moon gets up, awesome thing to take a look at. Like I mentioned, I saw it this last observing trip. M104, Zimbarel, low and south. Look for the dark, iconic dark rim is sharp and high contrast in larger aperture scopes or imaging. Then the Siamese twins, NGC 45, 67, 68. They're in the Virgo cluster. They're actually touching. You can see them touching. They're a beautiful V shape in the eyepiece. I've seen them various times, sketched them multiple times. You got Higgs 44. I saw that last time. See if you can get the jet in M87. Anyway, I know in my 17.5 inch I've been able to do that. So I just wanted to adjust this. In larger scopes or imaging under steady skies, you can actually see the jet if you have the right skills to do so. I'll probably need to do a quick little update on that next week of how to see the jet in M87. I'm actually just going to take a note so I can do a post on that next week. Anyway, that's worthy of a post. 4038 and 4039, the antenna, they're low in the south. The tails are extremely difficult, but the overlapping cores are visible. And actually, in our 21.82 empath skies, both Shane and I were able to see the tidal tails when we were looking at it. Very evident out there in that dark sky. Able 33, perfectly circular, Fate Planetary, high in Hydra. Use an O3 on that. You got to have an O3 on that one. And Palomar 4 is a ghostly globular cluster in Ursa Major. It's very sparse, very faint, even in large apertures or imaging. Take a look for it. And then I just give you a couple great imaging targets if you're into imaging this week. You got Marcane's chain. Here's an image of that. Here's an image I took from my Sea Star when I was last out under the M21.8 plus skies. This was from the Sea Star. This is showing M101. See how much detail that you can pull out of it. And then, of course, you got the Leo Dwarf, which is right next to Regulus. And that's the challenge, is can you pull it out with the bright star Regulus right there. And then see what you can do with Comet 2026A1 maps as it emerges from perihelion. I hope you found that helpful. I hope you like the weekly newsletter. I haven't seen a whole lot of people respond to it. Anyway, we'll see how long we keep doing it, if there's interest for it. So thanks for joining me, and we'll catch you soon. Go Artemis.